For years, the Middle East has been a battlefield of shifting alliances and hidden power struggles, but now a new conflict is emerging, one that could reshape the entire region. Israel and Turkey, two of the most powerful players in the Middle East, are on a collision course, and the battleground, Syria. Israel's primary focus in Syria has always been on Iranian influence, but a secret Israeli intelligence report is now warning that Turkish military footprint in Syria could be even more destabilizing than Iran's. Turkish-backed militias are expanding into key areas. Israeli airstrikes aren't just targeting Iranian proxies anymore, they're sending a direct message to Ankara. But why is Turkey so invested in Syria? What does Israel fear the most? And could this rising tension actually lead to war? Let's break it all down. Israel sees Turkey's expansion into Syria as a serious threat, and possibly for good reason. A government commission known as the Nagao Committee recently issued a warning. Turkey's goal is to restore its Ottoman-era influence in the region. To do that, it has put its support behind the then rebel group led by Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, or HTS, which recently rose to power, overthrowing the Assad regime. But Israel wasn't sitting back. Conducting airstrikes in Syria, particularly around the Palmyra region, weren't just about taking out Iranian targets. It was about sending a clear message to Turkey: stay away. However, Turkey has been making its own moves. Reports suggest that Ankara has negotiated military agreements with HTS, securing access to a large plot of land near Palmyra, where it intends to build a large military base. If true, this would put Turkish forces right on Israel's doorstep, far closer than Israel wants them. Israel's security officials are worried. If Turkey can build up military bases in Syria, strengthen its missile capabilities, and create long-term military presence in the country, it could completely shift the balance of power in the region, and that's a risk Israel isn't willing to take. Israel has three major objectives in Syria. Firstly, countering Iran and Hezbollah. Iran has been using Syria as a weapons highway, transferring military equipment to Hezbollah in Lebanon. Israel's airstrikes are aimed at disrupting this supply chain. Secondly, protecting minority communities. Israel has historically supported the Druze population in Syria. Officially, this is a humanitarian effort, but strategically, it helps to create a buffer zone along Israel's northern border. And lastly, shaping Syria's post-war future. Israel doesn't just want to neutralize threats, it wants to make sure that whatever government emerges in Syria isn't hostile to Israel's interests. And with Turkey increasing its influence, Israel is now facing a new challenge. But Turkey has its own reasons for being in Syria. Firstly, it wants to stop Kurdish autonomy. Turkey sees the Kurdish YPG as an extension of the PKK, a group it considers to be a terrorist organisation. Ankara is determined to prevent the formation of a semi-autonomous Kurdish state near its borders. Secondly, expanding political and economic influence. Turkey is positioning itself as a key player in Syria's post-war reconstruction. By backing various factions and investing in infrastructure, it cements its presence in the region. And lastly, countering Israeli and Western influence. Ankara sees Israel's military efforts and alliances as a direct challenge to its growing power in the Middle East, and that's where the conflict could intensify. There are several key indicators that suggest tensions between Israel and Turkey could escalate even further. Firstly, Turkey's expanding military presence. If Turkish forces gain permanent control of key Syrian territories, Israel could respond with increased airstrikes or covert operations. Then you have Israel's support of Kurdish groups. Ankara has long accused Israel of backing Kurdish autonomy. If Israel increases their support, Turkey could retaliate with military force. And lastly, shifts in Syrian politics. If Turkey successfully establishes a pro-Ankara government in Syria, Israel may step up its military efforts to counter this Turkish influence. Though a full-scale war between Israel and Turkey is still unlikely, this doesn't mean confrontation couldn't come. Both nations possess highly advanced militaries, and their rivalry could play out in several ways. We could see proxy battles in Syria. Instead of direct conflict, Israel and Turkey could fight through Syrian militias. You could then also see cyber warfare. Both countries have elite cyber units capable of launching attacks on critical infrastructure. Or you could see covert airstrikes and other military operations. If Turkey strengthens its military foothold in Syria, Israel could launch targeted strikes to push them back. But if Israel was to strike and kill Turkish troops, or if Turkish-backed militias attack Israeli forces, this could escalate rapidly. This conflict isn't just regional, it could have global consequences. As a member of NATO, Turkey's security is a collective concern. If Israel attacks Turkey, could Article 5 of the NATO treaty be triggered? And if so, would the US and other NATO members be forced to pick sides, risking the unity of the alliance? For Europe, Turkey's role in managing Syrian refugees has been crucial, but a war in Israel could destabilize the whole region, leading to a new influx of refugees into Europe, increasing pressures on an already strained system. And for the US, Washington relies on both Israel and Turkey as key allies in the region, but rising tensions could force the US to choose a side, complicating its Middle East strategy and possibly creating a major diplomatic dilemma. For Russia, Moscow has long had strategic interests in Syria, and the Israel-Turkey rivalry offers Russia an opportunity to deepen its influence. If tensions escalate, Russia could lean further toward Turkey, potentially weakening NATO's position and challenging US interests in the region. The global implications are far-reaching, and the situation is rapidly becoming a test of alliances on the world stage. So what happens next? Right now, both Israel and Turkey are walking a fine line. Neither wants a full-scale war, but the risk of a miscalculation is real. Syria remains the battleground, and the next moves in the conflict could define the region for years to come. The question is, how far will these countries go, and what does that mean for the future of the Middle East? What do you think? Will Israel and Turkey clash? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share and subscribe, as you know, it boosts the YouTube algorithm. And if you want to learn some more, why not watch this video on screen now on Russia's grey zone operations in Europe, and continue to learn about what's going on in the world. Also, if you've made it this far through the course, comment BlackCat3 in the comments and I will send you a 50% off voucher for any of our intelligence training. See you!